We the Fans is the #1 sponsor in battle rap. My name is Frank White, and I probably contributed to some of your favorite battles. I mean, in the last 4 years, I donated $222,000 to battle rap for the culture. Check out We the Fans Global on Instagram for the full catalog of battles I sponsor. And follow We the Fans Global on YouTube to watch full battle breakdowns from a sponsor's perspective and a recommendation for what battles should be booked next. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe and keep stepping into your greatness. We the Fans is for the culture.
We are here. No Cut 2 going down April 4th. I appreciate you taking the time to do this, Lang. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good, man. This is where the flurry of events start to come in. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
getting crazy.
everybody wants to talk about saturation until we get bored. Now we look forward to the events. You feel me? So yeah,
Now we saturating. Okay,
yeah,
so right out the gate, we got to talk about this opening battle for No Cut. We're only talking about day 2. Salute to day 1 that just got released today, but we're gonna address day 2 only. So out the gate, first battle is Loso versus Sino Savvy, the finals of the tournament with $10,000 on the line. How you
yeah.
call it?
There better not be a choke. That's what I. That's what I know. They had all this time with the finals. I honestly feel like I wish this would have happened in the calendar year of last year.
Mhm.
Um, I it's still a huge deal. I mean, it's 10 grand. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people talk about the economy of battle rap right now. 10 grand is a lot, so pretty huge deal. Sino Savvy had a really good run in the tournament. He's looking to make a name for himself, and what better way to do that than to beat the favorite? You know what I'm saying? That everybody deemed the favorite. You know what I'm saying in the tournament. But honestly, man, Loso 2-1. I mean, it's like, how do you not choose Loso to win?
That's tough. I mean, I don't know. Sino Savvy been proving people wrong. I didn't think he was going to make it as far as he did
Yeah.
when I saw who he was battling. When they announced the tournament, I had Sino Savvy going to the finals. But when I seen some of the battles ahead and who they locked him in with, I was like, oh, they set him up to lose quickly. But he defied the odds every time. You know what I'm saying?
Now
And he made
he
his way
is
to
it's very reminiscent of like when Holmesy was in UM2 or when
bingo,
Swamp was in UM5 or whatever. It's like
bingo.
they for sure weren't the favorites, but the as the tournament progressed, you're just like, okay, like this guy
It
is
was a
he hit a
problem.
hot streak, you know what I'm saying? So
Exactly. I agree. So, me personally, I think Loso's a competitor. He always shows up. He's a top tier talent. Big salute to Loso. But I think it comes down to who wants to win this more. And I think Sino Savvy
mm,
wants to win this more. Sino Savvy got hunger. He just had his debut on URL. I think he's finally getting that recognition that he's been due for so long because he was an unsung hero for sure. Salute to North Carolina, man. And it's at his crib. So
yeah,
there's
that's
no way
true.
Sino about to let this go down and he lose 10 bands at his crib in the finals of the tournament that he worked so hard to get to the point. So I think Sino Savvy 2-1. But I respect your Loso call because Loso's a dog. But I got Sino.
I ain't mad at that. I mean, but Loso really don't be losing to like people that are like status wise, like beneath
Yeah.
him. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's I don't know. But to your point, battling at home adds a whole different level of motivation. Like you just see a
Different
different
level.
version of people. You know what I'm saying? So
Bingo.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see the best Savvy. I mean, hell, $10,000 and you at home.
And you at the crib. What more motivation do you need to show the world? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So the next battle we're gonna talk about is Ill Will versus Swamp.
Mm,
Uh, what an incredible, incredible pairing.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Swamp had a great showing against Capo last year, great showing against Hollow. Excuse me, great showing against John John. Swamp been doing his numbers. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see him against Kid Slade, and I'm hearing he'll make that battle up at a later date. But Swamp been doing his numbers recently. Now, Ill Will came out against Tay Rock and had a formidable, formidable return. Dare I
Absolutely.
say that battle is better than the initial battle. And rarely does the sequel be better than the first movie. So I got to salute both of them on an incredible battle. Even though I had Tay Rock edging, a lot of people got Ill Will winning the battle.
Mhm.
But nonetheless, Ill Will's performance against Tay Rock was out of this world. Now, the real sick performance. It was good, but it was a little shaky. Some turbulence in that performance.
Yeah.
And the week after, he's battling Sheed this weekend. So that's a whole other battle. Then he's got to turn around and prepare for Swamp. I don't know what version of Ill Will we're getting by the time the Swamp battle happens.
Mm,
But I also don't know what version of Swamp we're getting when the
mm.
battle happens. If the battle happens, there's a lot in the air. Swamp is going through a lot, and sending prayers and all that. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Ill Will 2-1. How you
Okay.
call it?
It's a crapshoot, honestly. I mean, like you mentioned, I mean, the battle is kind of up in the air when it comes to ill will. Obviously, it's the activity, right? Like I feel like, you know, what's the saying? A little bit in the bag, a little bit in the purse. Like he put a lot in that bag for Tay Rock, and couldn't just put enough for Real Sick, especially a Real Sick that was sitting for quite some time. He didn't battle since Tay Rock. That was last summer. So and it's on King of the Dot, so he was gonna come full fledged, but.
Mhm.
Um, then he has Sheed, and then he has Swamp. I will say this though. I will say that the reason why it's easy for me to choose Swamp 2-1
Mhm.
is because for one, he North Carolina is like his home too. I mean, the Carolinas in general is like his stomping grounds.
Carolina, yep,
So
yep.
is that part of it? And I feel like if it's a matter of motivation, Ill will for sure motivate Swamp to be the best version of himself. Like if Swamp has like a slump, he figures out a way to get out of that slump when it comes to like those top tier guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember the back end, the front end of 2025 was kind of rough, but then he kind of hit a stretch of like just getting it together against the hollows, the chesses and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Dropped the ball a little bit against Easy, but even that was like a solid performance too.
Agreed.
So I'm gonna edge Swamp 2-1. I
Mhm.
do feel like Ill Will is biting off a little bit more than he can chew. Granted, he's a person that can freestyle and all that, but you can tell when he doesn't have it all the way down, that intensity that he has, like in like a Tay Rock battle or whomever, is just not there. You can feel him grasping for his material, trying to piece it together. And he's extremely talented, but against a swamp that is probably looking to have a great performance in the backyard, I don't know. So I got Swamp 2-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ill Will wins. I mean, 100% Ill Will can beat anybody any
That's
day.
a super
So
fact. I agree
yeah.
100%. This next one is interesting. It's at home for one gentleman, and the other gentleman has had a very tough latter part of his career. Charlie Clips versus Anderson Burris. I'm not gonna hold you. It's
Yeah.
at home for Anderson Burris. I've been a fan of Anderson Burris since I've seen him in the Crucible, particularly that J2 battle that won me
Absolutely.
over.
Yeah.
He's had battles here and there. Very creative, found a way to market himself beyond battle rap. Really an incredible talent. I really enjoyed his performance versus Arsenal. I had him edging the battle 2-1.
Mhm.
Um, Anderson Burris at home, and this is an opportunity on a very big card. I got Anderson Barris 2-1 clear. Dare I venture into gentleman's 30 territory on this one? How you calling it?
Yeah, man, it's an easy choice. And then a point that you mentioned was like the latter portion of Clips's career. I would specify and say the last 5 years of Clip's career because Clips 2021 and part of 2022 still showed a little bit of promise. I mean, he gave you the Lou Castro performance. He beat Big K on RBE. He had a good battle with B Dot as well too. So like a part of like the first two, and then the chess battle as well too at Chris Brown's house. So like there was a part in time where like he was still like showing up on his A game. But I don't know what's been going on the past few years. Like I like it's been this has probably been the worst version of Clips playing around and grabbing checks.
It's
Like
really unfortunate too because it's like those of us who were around for prime Clips. There was a point in time where Clips was smoking everything moving.
And even
Um,
Prime Clips had like these instances where he didn't like take a battle serious, whether it was the Sharon battle, whether it was the Ilmac battle, but there were battles where he was 110%
the
for.
Rex
But
battle.
now it's like it's not even a matter of like him showing like there's times where he shows up to the battle and he's may not even be freestyling, but the material he's giving is just not good. And that's the
Uh,
disheartening part because I'm just
that
like,
reminds
it's
me of the
one
Mike P
thing,
battle. That was
yeah.
awful to get through.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, Anderson Burris 2-1, clear.
But I
Sure.
do want to say, while we're bombing on Clips, we do got to highlight the fact that he spanked Easy, respectfully. He definitely
Yeah, that was the one, but that's the thing. I feel like if you don't, you got to antagonize him, and no one's really antagonizing him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they'll say he's washed, or yeah, they'll say whatever. But like, I feel like Easy in that face off particularly kind of antagonized him
It's
a little
probably
bit.
a little
And,
crazy to him. Yep.
yeah,
But
so
also, Easy was going through a lot in his personal life at the time,
yeah,
so no,
yeah,
no, no
100%.
excuses. But you caught Easy lacking for sure. But we both agree Anderson Barris is the one that's going to win this. So, um, this next announcement was very exciting. Super hyped for this one. Very interested to see how this goes. A Ward versus Chess. Now, A Ward,
Mm,
looking at his schedule, great
yeah.
battle with Jack to end off the year. Um, I had him beating Jazz. Um, I had him beating Fonz very clear all rounds. And so now we come to this, and this is the only battle that I think he may not win. And I've told him this just because I've seen the version of Chess that shows up against the Horseman. Now, I know that's crazy to say considering Chess's consecutive losses to Klutz, to Eunice. The list goes on and on.
J2 just last year, like
J2, yeah, the J2 loss was nasty. So it's tough to say that, but I have faith in the young God. How you calling it?
I got A-Ward 2-1, man. Like
Ah!
I gotta keep it real. But here's the thing, though. I
Mhm.
do feel like because I spoke with a couple of people, and I do feel like we're gonna get a really good chess. But is
I
a really
think
good chess gonna beat a really good A-Ward? That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and truthfully, um, I feel like we've seen chess have good performances and still lose. Like
mm,
I think about him versus Swervo, where like he was pretty solid in the battle. Swervo just beat him. You know what I'm saying? And like kind of the same thing with the Eunice battle. It's like he was pretty good. They just beat him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
that's true. Same thing. He was good. It's just got whooped.
yeah, so like I feel like it's gonna be along the same lines. Now we'll say for some reason he's extremely motivated for this battle, or not for some reason. People I feel like his vantage point of how he views A Ward is different than how other people view A Ward, and he's trying to show the difference between himself and him, if that makes
Mhm,
sense. Like you know, how,
mhm,
like sometimes there's certain battlers that think like a battler sucks, but like
mhm,
the fans really revere him, so like they really want to go out their way to smoke him. I feel like
mhm,
Chess has that mentality. You know what I'm saying? And he's went on record saying he don't really watch battles or or anything like that. So he just goes off of hearsay. But
mhm.
I do think he's extremely amped up for the battle. I don't know if that's enough for him to beat A Ward though. So I got A Ward 2-1. And if A Ward pulls off the trifecta with
What are we
Jazz,
doing? What are we doing with
Fonz,
Ward? If he
hey
does
man,
that, what are we doing?
because I honestly said he was going to be 1 and 2. I thought Chess was going to be the one he was going to take, and I thought he was going to drop the two to Jazz and Fonz. Clearly beat Fonz, which surprised the hell out of me. Like not because he couldn't beat him, but the fashion that he beat him. Right.
All three
So
rounds.
that and then like the Jazz battle was a good battle, and it was a solid Jazz, and he just
Mhm.
won that battle too. So I mean, hey, 3 clear wins against 3 high caliber MCs.
What are we doing with A Ward? I think
I'm
what I
just
think
saying.
we're witnessing probably the best version of A Ward that we've ever seen. And it's weird to say that considering how
Yeah.
many incredible incarnations of A Ward we've already seen. And when he called out Surf in the T top battle, I was looking at him like, what are you talking about, brother? Come on, what are you doing? But now that call
I'm
out
here for it.
makes sense to me
I'm here
now.
for it.
It makes sense.
No, I feel like
I hate to say it, but it's true.
it's interesting because like if you're talking about his biggest moments, I feel like his biggest moments precedes this year. But if you're talking about this stretch of wins that he's like
It's
collecting, I would
crazy.
agree with you that I feel like this is like the best stretch of A Ward.
It's
Like
crazy. I had him losing to Jack, but I think many people have him winning that battle. And so you could argue that he's been undefeated. And that's
yeah.
crazy. When you look at that schedule, it's crazy to say that.
He hasn't to me in my scope of things, I haven't had him taking a clear loss since Av.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Salute to A Ward, man. I also have A Ward as a number 2 option for champion of the year for me. I know you can't speak on that, but
I
I'm
can't
just
say too
saying,
much.
like, me personally, it's Rock or Ward for me for last year. You know what I'm saying? Ward has been on an incredible run, and it's so great to see because I think for so long people were in doubt. There was always like these little asterisks. Yeah, but he hasn't been on URL. Yeah, but he hasn't done this. Or he's done everything now, so there's nothing that needs to be said. You know what I'm saying? This man,
Yeah.
this man is on a crazy run right now. It's incredible to see what he's about to accomplish, and as long as he continues to pace himself the way he's been doing, man, this might be 2020 Ward. You know what I'm saying? This might be
Well,
the
he's
year.
already made this like decade a staple. I mean, like 2021, like his max out performances, especially against Ill Will.
Crazy,
2022 gave you Battle of the Year with Nitty.
crazy.
2023 gave you had two moments with Vixen and Verb. And then 2024, you know what I'm saying? Him and Hollow was a good battle, him and Rock was a good battle. So every year he's leaving a mark, you know what I'm saying?
What
There's
are
a
we
reason why
doing
he
with
makes it
Ward?
every year, you know what I'm saying? I personally feel like, you know, there's a couple battles specifically. I don't know how we got into a whole war conversation, but we're here now. But I personally feel like there's like a couple battles that can really push him into like a different stratosphere. Like I already think that he's like a one of the best talents in the world,
Mhm.
but like when we constructed our list of like top 50 battlers, he was anywhere from like 30 to 40. And that's just because like he got on like 2017, 2018.
Mhm.
He adds in, say, a Calico battle or like another like high quality battle, you know what I'm saying, into like those legacy talks,
Mhm.
we could be talking about him being a top 25 to top 20
Crazy,
guy in a couple of years,
crazy.
you know what I'm
That's
saying? And
crazy.
it shows in the consistency too, because he's another guy that's gonna have 100 plus battles,
Mhm.
and you could argue that he's batting at least 80 to 85% out of those 100
That is
battles.
crazy.
So
And you got to think people like Mook calling him out. That's not for no reason.
yeah.
Mook sees what we're starting to see now, which is like this guy in a couple years might be one of the greatest ever. So I'm hyped. I'm very hyped to see what A Ward does. I got him winning this one. I'm sorry. I got Chess winning this one, but if A Ward wins this, I will not be shocked because his run is incredible. But I think I just hold on to the nostalgia of Chess versus the Horseman and him having the trilogy. Chess versus Saga made me a chess fan. Chess versus Loso, one of my personal favorite chess performances.
Chess vs Saga is the best. I noticed a hot take. Chess vs Saga is like the best chess performance in my opinion, all things
That's when it made
considered.
me a chess
I
fan. I
know
love
people are gonna say the easy battle, but I think even with like the little hiccup he had in the first, like from a content standpoint, from a
content
pacing
perspective. That
standpoint,
battle is
that's his
is
best performance,
insane.
100%.
Insane. Yep.
So
Okay. So I got Chess. You got A Ward. This next one, this is my final battle that I sponsored. It was very difficult to decide what was going to be the last battle. I'd already worked with Twerk a bunch of times, and I'd worked with Nitty a couple times. But the importance, and we're also in rematch season in battle rap, so
yeah.
the importance of this battle compelled me to get involved in it. And this was T Top's idea. Salute to T Top. But the rematch, New Jersey Twerk versus Rum Nitty. The first battle was very good. I personally had
I'm not
Twerk
gonna lie.
winning.
There's a lot of people even with it being 2.5 rounds. There's a lot of people, or 1.5, because one person wrapped 2 rounds and then we only got halfway and then whatever. But like with it being 2.5 rounds, there's a lot of people that still consider it a classic battle.
That's
So,
what's so crazy is that
so
it's an incomplete battle, but people consider it such a great battle. And where they hold it in high regard. I wouldn't say it's such a great battle, but they hold the battle in high regard. And I think the importance of both of them showing up at their best can't be stressed enough. Like we
yeah,
need to see them both rapping at their best and getting it out the way, and then for
yes.
us to determine definitively who's the best out of the two. Going into this battle, we've seen Nitty have an incredible performance against Mike P. I can't stress enough how amazing that performance was. Great performance versus Kid Chaos. I don't want to hear anyone mention his battle versus Los Preem, but because that was a blunder, and we the fans apologize for that. But the last two battles from Rum Nitty have been excellent. His performances have been excellent. He's showing up. If this is his last year, I hope he keeps that momentum going into the whole year to just give us great performances back to back to back and then right off into the sunset. With that said, Twerk is bouncing back from a rough season. You know, being a Twerk fan is being there through the peaks and valleys of his career, which he's had
Mhm.
many of both. And we're going to see what he looks like coming back this weekend against Murder. I think that's a nice little warm up, but this is the definitive where is Twerk at with it. And we're going to see based on what version we get in this battle, we'll know exactly how the latter half of Twerk's career is going to go because that easy battle was nasty business. But they both have a couple battles that are nasty business, so they kind of even out. But Twerk needs to show up in this. He needs to stay composed. He needs to give us great material. You've been sitting for about a month and a half, which isn't a lot for most, but by Twerk standards, that's a long time. So we need to see New Jersey Twerk versus Rum Nitty be an incredible battle. And biasly, I'm rooting for New Jersey Twerk 2-1.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. I love this battle. Like, this is one of the rematches where I actually thought it wasn't going to happen because, like, they grew such a great rapport, honestly. And the fact they did the 2-on-2 together and all that, I'm like, man, they probably ain't never going to battle each other again. But I'm glad that this is happening just because of I just keep thinking of the Nitty line where he's told Flair, he was like, "You're really of the elk of me and Twerk," you know what I'm saying? And like when you really think about it, it's like Nitty and Twerk for a lot of these new guys is like the blueprint for them. You know what I'm saying? Like they are the matrix that they try to crack as they're trying to, compose their style. And, the way that they kind of morphed their styles to complement one another is kind of crazy because I feel like Nitty's kind of honed in on like Twerk's ability to deliver and also be kind of simpler when it comes to certain punchlines. And then on the flip side, it's like Twerk has implemented more complex rhyme schemes and like intricate schemes and stuff like that because he you know what I'm saying, he reveres Nitty. So it's kind of dope to see how like they both have kind of matured their style and they kind of both are like growing in different directions. This one I'm actually gonna say that I'm not gonna choose a winner. This one's
we're not doing that.
Nah,
We're not doing
no,
that,
I reserve the right to say
Wayne,
one battle I don't have a winner.
We know your Nitty committee. We know your Nitty committee.
This one. Here's the thing. This one I don't know for sure because I would always say that like Twerk is probably the better all around talent, right? But Nitty just has a way of captivating the audience with his material. Like I feel like there's a world where 2 rounds are close, but Nitty will probably have round of the battle because he typically does. But the only person that could probably take that away from him is a Twerk, though. That's why I'm saying, like,
they both honestly show up all 10. Gun to your head, Lang. Who wins?
Well, then I got to think about the best. Now we get into a different conversation. Now I got to think about the best Nitty performances versus the best Twerk performances. I would say Twerk, in my opinion, Twerk's best performance, in my opinion, it may not be the most popular. I think him versus Suge is like his best overall performance. All 3 rounds, big stage against a great opponent. I feel like he showed levels in that battle. And that's very crazy to say considering he was so early on in his career at the time. Versus, like, what would I say is Nitty's best performance? All 3. Maybe him versus A-Ward? So like that's a tough battle. You feel that's a very tough. So like I don't know because like at the end of the day, Twerk's strong suit is his ability to like connect with the complex and simple lines, right? And then his projection is so strong. And then on Nitty's end, it's like every line counts with him. It's like every line is going to connect because every line he makes it poignant. So I don't know. I'm gonna say debatable. This one I don't have a winner. I'm keeping it real. I don't know.
You want to say Nitty?
I don't feel like he's going to clearly win this battle, and I don't feel like Twerk is going to clearly win this battle.
Okay, I'm gonna let you.
I honestly think that is going to be preferential.
Okay.
And I honestly wish I had a little bit more insight because, like, do you know if this is going to be like
it's kind of thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on
because I do feel like that makes a difference. I do feel like that makes a huge difference.
I think if it's okay, so let's say it's pit style. Who wins?
You know what's crazy? I honestly think that historically people would say that Twerk is a better performer than Nitty. But I feel like Nitty's kind of mastered his craft on stage and in the small room. And it's something about Twerk. Twerk in a small room, because he's so powerful with his delivery, it makes the reaction seem that much harder. And then like on a big stage, if he hits like a little dry spot or he has a bar that doesn't land, it kind of takes away his momentum. I feel like Nitty would actually favor better on a big stage than Twerk would.
If it's a
From a
stage,
confidence standpoint, if it's pit style, I still don't know
if
because
it's pit
obviously,
style, I got Nitty. If it's pit style, I got Nitty. If it's stage, I got Twerk.
mm,
Because that like
I
the
feel like Twerk's a better overall performer historically, but I do feel like
bingo.
Nitty has found a way to kind of because I think back to like because like Nitty hasn't really been on that many stages, but I do think back to the Ace Amin performance that he had, where like
Mm,
he wasn't really like crazy with the performances, but like every line that he had was able to connect. You know what I'm saying? And like with
mm,
Twerk, he has the ability to have the moment of the battle. But then again, you can visibly see when he's frustrated when a bar doesn't land.
mm.
And it can throw him off. Like Deluxe battle just recently. Like I feel like full steam ahead first round. Second and third round, when he feels like the crowd is either restless or not really connected, like it takes away from his energy. I feel like Nitty kind of powers through that and continues to rap how he's supposed to.
Damn, damn. Okay, okay, okay.
But I think this battle's gonna be great regardless. And like I said,
I
I don't
do too.
I can't choose a winner. This is one of the
I
few
do.
times I won't choose a winner because I don't know. I don't know who's gonna
Okay, I respect it. I'm gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you live. This next one, if you tell me you can't call a winner, I'm gonna walk out. Tay Rock versus O Solo.
win. Hey man, shout out to O Solo for having a what? I think him and Clips did 2.2 million last year.
Insane, insane.
Crazy. Tay Rock 3-0.
Thank you, thank you.
Like
Now,
no
now,
slight to O Solo,
yeah,
but
I don't
like
want to slight O Solo because I've been a fan of O Solo since Fight Club, but that's back when I was a fan of O Solo. There is nothing recent from O Solo that I've seen aside from maybe the Sears Jones battle that I've seen that's made me feel like, oh, Solo's a contender, a lyrical problem, a threat of any kind. And Tay Rock is in. I don't even want to say Tay Rock is in his prime because it seems like he's been in his prime for centuries and he just keeps getting better.
Tay Rock
Um,
has a I'll just call it a career renaissance. I
this
just
is
feel
just
like
don't it
he
just don't make sense. Like
yeah.
him and Jada Nightwing, him and Lou Castro, him and Fonz. Like it, you could pick any Tay Rock performance from the last year, 2, 3, 4. He's just wilding. You know what I'm saying? So salute to him. I think the only person I've seen beat Tay Rock, or the only two, I think I had
Trez,
Trez beating
Jazz,
him, and I think I had Av beating him as well.
Jazz.
Um, I didn't have Jazz, but I know consensus
What
is
round?
Jazz.
Wait, hold
I
on.
know consensus is Jazz
Hold
one.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
I
on.
know
What
consensus.
round? What rounds
I
did you give
know
Rock? What rounds
I
did you?
got I gotta go back and check, but I think it was second and third that I gave Rock. But I
I'm
gotta
not
go
mad at
back.
the third for sure. He for
I
sure
gotta go
got the
back and check.
third.
But I had Rock edging that battle. But consensus is Jazz one, and it's overwhelming consensus. This isn't just like a couple more people got Jazz. This is like I'm 1 in 1,000 people that has Rock. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that's a consensus win for Jazz. I respect it. But I haven't seen Rock lose too much, you know, and
Yeah.
that's saying a lot because his resume is insane. He takes on every level of competition. Rock versus Jay Soldier was Rock
Nah, I ain't
pulling
gonna front.
amazing
He had
things off.
no business being that good.
Like, bro,
Versus
I didn't even know who Jay. All due respect to Jay Soldier, I didn't know who that
yeah.
was. Rock was up there wilding.
He made that into it like he made that battle like entertaining, like
Yeah,
extremely
I
entertaining.
was
Like I
tuned in. I
was
was locked in because I was like, man, Rock, like, who is this guy? And you're wilding like this. So, salute to Tay Rock, man. He's the emblem of consistency. Like he's the logo. You know, no question. Now, with all of that said, and all the praise being placed on Tay Rock, perhaps there's a nostalgia effect here for him personally. But I will be skipping this battle, and this is very much a smoke break
I
battle, and not a
honestly
smoke. And this and O Solo, salute to you, brother. You were doing ridiculous numbers. So
yeah.
somebody's watching. So my opinion doesn't even matter at all. But somebody's gonna watch this and it's gonna do millions and millions of views. So salute to both of them. I just won't be one of those millions of views.
Nah, here's the thing. Like, I feel like this battle is gonna like I don't say force, but it's gonna encourage Rock to do something different, and I'm here
Mhm.
for it. Sometimes, like, hey, Rock is really funny. You know what I'm saying? Like when he wants to be.
We just
So
saw him against Shotty be very funny. I was like, oh, I didn't even
right.
know you get in that bag.
So I'll watch it because I'm a battle rap fan. But to your point, it's like, am I extremely excited about it? No.
Yeah.
Like, there's other battles he probably could have taken, but I mean, why not? You know, he don't really. And then my thing is like, he with him being on predominantly URL. I mean, I take that back. They be giving him URL. They be giving him YouTube drops. Like, right? If anybody's gonna get YouTube drops or URL, it's gonna be Tay Rock. So I can't even say he don't get YouTube drops. But this will be another YouTube drop. They'll do great numbers, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna try to create a moment out of this battle. You know what I'm saying? So I'll watch it, but it primarily be a situation where he wins 3-0 and there'll be one round where he goes viral for doing something different or whatever. So
yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I got Rock 3-0 without watching the battle. My pre-prediction and post-prediction, Rock 30,
crazy.
Rock is the greatest of all time. It just is what it is.
And real quick, while we're on the Rock subject, right? He's another guy that I feel like in the 2020s has like made a mark in every year. And it's crazy because I remember a time period. I want to say he took some time off after the Hollow Battle, which I feel like the Hollow Battle is what stamped him as an all-time great, right? He took some time off, then he battled Goods, and I feel like that from Goods to like maybe Geechee Gotti, it was like a little rough period where it wasn't necessarily doing bad, but it wasn't like the Rock that we're used to. Because after Goods, he had the Hitman battle where he kind of, he lost that. He had the Pasté battle where he lost that. And then he had the Shine rematch that was just okay. And then he had the Suge rematch where a lot of people forget that he lost to Suge on the rematch, you know what I'm saying? So he really didn't like really pick up steam into the Daylight battle. That's the battle where he picked up steam, and then Mook battle, which say what you will, he have won it. I thought that was still a good performance, but that Daylight battle was what, in my opinion, reignited like the renaissance for Rock. And if you look at how he approached that battle, he rapped way different than how he usually did. And like from the rhyme patterns to the complex schemes that he was doing or whatever, like I think that it's dope to see him reinvent himself while reinvent certain things while also still remaining his core self. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that don't know how to do that. And there's a lot of people after like when they hit like a certain point, like when they get that certain marquee battle, like I remember when B Magic got conceded, he was never the same after that. I remember when like, I love B Magic, but like there's certain battlers, once they get that marquee battle or that in-game battle, they're just not the same anymore. Like they don't have that same hunger. And it's dope to see that Rock still has that same hunger after battling a Mook, battling like all the top guys that he's battled in his career. So salute to Rock, man. Yeah, emblem of consistency. I think the only person that you can argue is like as consistent as Rock is like a DNA.
Yeah,
or Chef Trez. Like those are the only people that you can argue.
Agreed. Okay. We are here. We've arrived at the final battle, my 59th and second to last battle. Finally got a Verb on my resume. Verb being a Mount Rushmore, Verb being somebody who I think is the blueprint for third rounds. Great music, but everything outside of the arts obviously has done some to tarnish his legacy. But I'm here for the raps. I'm here for the arts. So if I'm just focused on the arts and the raps, Verb has done an impeccable job throughout his career. Great career. So it's great to have him on my resume for battles that I've sponsored. With all of that said, it's also my first time getting T-Top on my resume. And T-Top has also accomplished some amazing things when it comes to big battles. When it comes to the smaller battles, he's played around a lot and kind of dropped the ball. But as far as big battles go, T-Top shows up when it's time to. Now, whether he wins it or not is a different conversation, but he shows up. And with that said, T-Top versus A-Verb. I had T-Top losing the A-Ward. I had T-Top losing to Kid Slade. I had T-Top losing to J2. I think I had him losing to Marv.
Fonz as well, too.
It's very difficult to think of the last time. What was Miss Hustle is probably the last time I had him winning a battle. And that was sometime last year. Now, he might have won one other one. I got to think about it a little bit, but he's been losing in a lot. And Verb beat JC. I had Verb beating Chilla Jones, even though some people say that's a debatable battle. I respect it. But Verb has also had some mixed stickers throughout his time as well. So we're in North Carolina. This is T-Top's first time battling in North Carolina. I'm expecting
since Jerry West.
It's the first time on his own league that he raps in North Carolina. So I'm expecting you want to know how I know Jesus is black level round. I'm expecting self checkout level round. I'm expecting one of the greatest T tops we've ever seen. Mickey Fax laid out an anthology of information to pull from. Eight days of plagues, all kinds of angles. Danger Zone is making a career off of a whole other career, and so the odds are against Verb. But this isn't an environment that Verb's not used to. Verb had to deal with this going against Real Deal. He went to Pittsburgh to battle Real Deal. He went to the West Coast to battle Ilmac. He went to
The West Coast to battle Diz.
West Coast to battle Diz. Like, Verb is no stranger to enemy territory. And so salute to him for taking the battle in this fashion. He battled JC in the Midwest, if you want to say that, So salute to Verb for being the warrior, but there is a lot happening to try and tarnish Verb's legacy, both by external factors and by Verb himself. So this is the time to plant your flag and show the world once again why you are who you are, why you're revered in the way that you're revered, why you're a Mount Rushmore candidate, why we say you're one of the GOATs. This is the time to remind your fan base. This is the time to show people who you are. This is not the time to no-show. This is not the time to stumble through your material. This is the time to go to T-Top's home with all the angles that he has, all the ammunition he has against you, to show up, do some impeccable rapping, and win. We need to see it happen. And with Briz in the building, it'll be that much better for it to happen, because we know how Averb versus Briz went. So with all of that said, I have faith that Averb is going to win 2-1 over T-Top. I know I'm alone in this prediction, but I really believe Verb is going to come through and do the impossible, and he's going to win. Now, it's going to be a fight. This is not going to be an easy battle, but I know Verb knows what's at stake here, because T-Top has all the ammunition he needs to bury him. So he's got to show up. The floor is yours.
T-Top 2-1 clear, maybe. I'm sorry, man. It's just too much against Verb. My thing is like, I would believe you if I really felt like Verb would do some counter writing, or maybe even like talk about the topic. I feel like he's just gonna tiptoe around it. Like Verb most of the time is not that direct in his battles. And I feel like if T-Top is like really angling how he's supposed to, and Verb doesn't address any of those things, and he raps 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it's not a good recipe. It's not a good recipe for a win. Like, I just don't see it, because for one, like I said, like I feel like Verb is not going to address anything. And if he does try to address it, I don't know it will be coherent enough for where we can like really receive it in a good manner. And then on top of that, I don't foresee him rapping more than like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, maybe 3 minutes. T-Top's gonna rap at least 5. It's just a mismatch. And then T-Top at home, like last time he was at home, it was against Jerry West, and like, man, I got T-Top clearly winning this battle. It's unfortunate. I hate going against the Midwest, but I gotta call it how it is. I just feel like Verb. I just feel like Verb. And the thing is, when the people that he did beat, right, or the person that he did, because I didn't have him beat in Chilla, but you can make an argument for JC. I feel like the JC battle is pretty competitive as well too. I feel like JC overthought the battle, and he didn't really rap how he was supposed to, and he caught steam towards the back end of the battle. I feel like T-Top has so many talking points to where if you don't like one of them, there's at least 4 or 5 other ones you're going to like. You know what I'm saying? And nobody has really did what they were supposed to do with those angles yet. Like Chilla didn't really do it. What y'all just say? Chilla didn't do it. JC didn't do it. You feel me? I feel like T-Top is going to get it right though. I feel like T-Top is going to get it right. So I got T-Top clearly winning this battle. Now, do I feel like it's going to be a situation where it's going to be like just a extreme body bag? I'm not sure, because like T-Top is known to let his foot off the gas a couple times. So that's why I err on the side of caution to saying 2-1. But I do feel like there'll be a legendary round in there somewhere. Like I feel like you're gonna get at least one of those. So
What does it mean if Verb wins though? What does it mean then? What if T Top goes in there chuckling, drops
it
the
mean
ball,
it mean
and Verb wins?
so
What does it mean?
so I would say the fashion of which he wins means a lot.
Okay.
Like I mean, beating top tier competition isn't easy, so you'll take your ugly wins if you can.
Mhm.
But if he can find a way to sidestep and my thing is like I would be surprised if he counterwrites and figures out a way to counterbalance all the information because it's like right there in your face. So I don't know how he's going to do it, but like if he can find a way to do that and just beat T-Top straight up, I mean, hats off. I mean, yeah, hats off. That's all I can really say. But
That's
do I see
all.
that happening? I don't see that happening, man. I really don't. Like
I mean, people act like there isn't a lot to talk about with T Top.
there is a lot to talk about with T-Top.
He's got some angles too.
But does Verb care enough to like? And that's the thing too. Is like when I listen to Verb rap, he don't even care about his opponent half of the time. He just cares about getting his raps off. He want to get off his 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's it. And half of them don't even really be direct. Now he was styling on JC a little bit. I ain't gonna front. He was
Okay.
styling
And
on
he was
JC a little
talking heavy
bit.
to Chilla too, but okay.
Eh,
Okay. Okay, so looking at this card on paper, what are we rating it out of 10?
a strong
Just on paper, because we don't know how these battles going to turn out. So just on paper,
out
when
of
you see
10.
names like Loso versus Sino Savvy, Ill Will versus Swamp, Clips versus Anderson Burris, A Ward versus Chess, Twerk versus Nitty 2, Tay Rock versus O Solo, and T Top versus A Verb. What are we doing with the
I'm
rating?
anywhere between 7.5 to an 8. 7.5. I would say 7.
Strong.
I would say 7.5 to an 8. Just because I mean, yeah, there's are some matchups that we don't really care for. Like we don't really care for we don't really care for Tay Rock and No Solo like that. And we kind of don't really care for if we're keeping it real. It's a good look for Anderson Burris, but I would much rather Anderson Burris to take on another opponent that I know for sure is going to give a good fight. So there's a couple of matchups that I'm just like, but then there's some pretty big highs. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm anywhere from 7.5 to an 8.
Yep. Okay, I'm with you. We on the same page. I'm gonna say 8 just because 8 because I'm really interested in seeing how T Top and Verb goes. 8 because I'm really interested in seeing how Twerk and Nitty 2 go, and 8 because A Ward versus Chess. Those 3 battles right there are insane. And I'm also gonna add Ill Will versus Swamp. That's a fire battle. You know what I'm saying? Ignoring Will's nasty schedule, and also Swamp's mishaps. That's a fire battle on paper. So I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. But we shall see how this event goes. No Cut 1 was plagued by sound issues, disorganization, and more. So I hope
And
that
being
they get this
extremely
right.
late.
Yeah, time issues. I hope they get this right for one reason. If they get this wrong, I'm gonna start protesting against seeing these types of matchups on smaller leagues because we can't be dropping the ball with these mega matches that we know a big league like URL would execute smoother. You know, it just so let's just see. But I hope T Top understands the assignment and he needs to make sure that this is seamless and at the very least that there's no mic issues. Everyone's in attendance in a timely fashion. We need a very good event because otherwise we got to start talking about leaving it to the professionals because we can't keep running through these matchups. You know what I'm saying?
And Carolina usually has like a really good turnout when it comes to the audience and
Yeah, we got a good crowd.
the crowd, you know, because I when I went to Civil War, that was like one of the that was like I ain't gonna say the first time, but that was like one of the first times they went like had like an outside event during like the COVID era or whatever. That crowd was live, man. So North Carolina usually shows up and show out. So I think the crowd would be okay. It does boil down to just the organization aspect, whether it comes when it comes to audio and stuff like that. They have I'm pretty sure they're gonna have JB shooting, so I think the visual is gonna be crisp, so that's not gonna be an issue. But audio, battlers being there on time, you know, the time in between battles is going to be a major thing too, and the battlers themselves just being the best versions of themselves is going to be, you know, because I do feel like one thing I will say right is with these battlers having so much of a rapport for one another, you would think that they would like give like a grade A performance with them being friends and whatnot. But sometimes these friends be
Do
showing
the
up on
work.
bullshit. I ain't gonna lie.
Fact.
So hopefully they're not on that type of time. Hopefully they treat this
Agreed.
like event like a serious event. Because there's some serious matchups on here that I think that can shift a couple things this year. So
I agree. No Cut 2, April 4th. I appreciate you making the time to do this, Lang. We'll reconvene after the event happens and see what happened.
yeah, man.
Salute.
If a verb counter writes, I'm a DM you. I'm like, oh, AC Crow. I'm like, all right now. You feel me?
Let's
So
go. Let's
yeah.
go.
And if chess wins, I'll publicly get on camera and say, hey, good win.
Say no more.
Because honestly, like him beating A War would probably be the biggest win he's had in a very long time.
Man.
I'm talking
Man.
years. It would be a pretty
Man.
huge win. So
Let's go, young God. I believe.
yeah.
All right, Lang. God bless.
All right, appreciate you.
Peace.